Hi, my people. Welcome back to 100 Days of Data with Miss Mailiana. It's day 19. Day 19. I am Francisca Mailiana Zonki, your lead tutor for this challenge. All right, so we've gone through Excel from the basics. What we've discussed in Excel are the basic things you need to know. If you want to understand Excel better, join our monthly live classes where we take you through Excel. You finish a full project on our classes. So the next class for Excel and Power BI is going to be in April. So you have time to actually save up, learn, and join us for April. All right. So for this week or starting today, we are going to look at SQL, and also we have our monthly class for SQL and Python coming up this February on the 10th. We start class on the 10th of February, so you have now to 10th of February to register now if you want to learn SQL and Python. Right, SQL is one of, as at 2026, SQL is one of the top skill that is needed in data analytics. So if you want to learn it better, join our classes. Note, this challenge is to give you the basic information. So if you want to upgrade and advance, join our monthly live classes and join our WhatsApp group for all that information as well. All right, so let's get into today's video. Today's video is just going to explain to you what SQL is all about. All right, so we are back on the board. All right, SQL. All right, in simple terms, SQL is a machine language. Just like we have French or Spanish or Chi or Ga, right? These are ethnic groups languages, right? Or group languages. SQL too is a language. Just like how we learn English in school, we learn French, we learn the language around SQL as well. All right, so you're going to understand what SQL is and what databases are, and also how SQL fits into the into data analytics. So first and foremost, I want you to know that SQL is what? A language, a machine language, just like how we learn about French and all that is also a language. Please take note of that. All right, so we move on to explaining what SQL is all about. SQL is actually, I think, is it abbreviation, right? So AS stands for structured, Q stands for query, and can you guess what L is for? L is for language. So it's what? Structured query language. Also can be called SQL. SQL is spelled, if I'm right. So if you hear SQL, it's the same thing. All right. So it's a structured query language. When we talk about structured, okay, what does this structure stands for? Structured is standing for organizing data accordingly. All right, so this is why we have the structure. So it's a tool that helps you organize your data in a structured format. Okay, then now what does query stand for? In English, when we say query, it's like you are questioning someone or something to get an answer. So I'm querying you. When you go to the workforce, you hear you'll be queried, and most of the time it's like, okay, why were you late? You have to answer why you were late. Okay, so when you say when you query the machine, when you query your laptop or you query the tool, it's just trying to tell you that you're telling SQL to get you something. It's like you are asking a question to get a feedback. So it's like you are sending out some words for a feedback. So it's more of like getting feedback. Getting feedback about what? Your data. So you organize your data, it's structured. You query it to get feedback, and the language to query and get the data, right? So the language to query the structured data, that is SQL. The language to query the data. So if you have been able to understand this, I say join our SQL class now. All right. So that is the definition of SQL. All right. It's a language, let's say a machine language, just like how we have French, Spanish, and all that. And S stands for structured, Q stands for query, and L stands for language. Breaking each of them down, structured stands for you organizing your data. Okay, query stands for you questioning or getting feedback from your structured data, and the language is what you are going to use to query the structured data. Do you get? So everything makes sense at this point. All right, so that is the definition of SQL. So it's a structured query language, right? That's the full meaning. So it's a language that helps you actually get feedback and all that. And what is it used for? Okay, so let's go. So what is it used for? Okay. So from our definition, you can say SQL is used to ask questions about data. All right. But in SQL, you're going to get to know that SQL is used for maintaining, or it's used for data maintenance. So it's used for data maintenance. Okay, so this is the tool that helps you organize your data, maintain your data accordingly, and all those things. So we now know that SQL is used for it's used to ask questions about data. SQL is used for data maintenance, right? So we will get to realize that we are talking about data, and there's one particular thing we have to look at: the frame of how data is organized in. Yeah, so let's add the third one, then we now talk about data organization, right? So SQL is used for organizing data. So what these are some of the uses or the major uses of SQL. So I've given you the definition of SQL and what is used for. Three of them, these are the three major ones. This, so you can see that this one talks about the query part of things. This one talks about, let's say, language. So you are using the language or the structured part. This is mainly structuring, right? So you get to realize that if you understand the definition of things, you understand the meaning of things, you get to know why you are using it. Okay. So now let's talk about organizing data with SQL. That brings us to knowing something called the database. All right, so let's say we gather our data. So we have a big, let's call this a field. So let's call this Hadimir. All right, I want to make it more understanding. Hold on, let me see if it's recording. Okay, all right, it's recording. All right, so we have company A. All right, and it has so many data. Let me make it more. We have customer service, so customer service department. We have finance department. We have HR department. We have legal department, we have sales, we have marketing, right? So this is company A, and these are all the departments they have, etc., etc. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 departments, and each department gather data, right? So data is everywhere. So let's say this field is all got, like, it's having data everywhere, right? So now we have different data. So this is data, this data. We now have to move the data accordingly to some, like, to arrange it, right? So when we are arranging it, we are going to create a database to arrange it. So the database I'm going to create will be, I'm going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we have CS, finance, HR, legal, sales, and marketing. So these are our database. Okay, so how do we create? So in SQL, you will be able to create this with the language. So you are organizing this whole data, which is messed up, right, in a structured format. That is what SQL is going to help you do. So it's more of like, in a nutshell, always think about it. Data is all about records, and from the beginning of your school days, you realize that data is gathered in a table format, right? Name here, this, that, this, that, this, that. So anytime you have a tool, try to understand, how is this tool gathering the data? How is it arranging it? So in SQL, you arrange it in a database format, okay, first. So you get your overall data, then you arrange it in the database format. So these are our database, these are basins, okay. So now in customer service, right, you are going to have maybe the complaints that comes. So this is complaints data, this is customer data, the customer information. So maybe this is customer info data. You also have let's get a third one for this. I'm trying to get a third one for this. So maybe you can have customer behavior data, or customer preference data. So this tells us that we have different sets of data sets. So this is a data set 1, data set 2, data set 3, all under what? Customer service database, right? So this is a basin containing customer data sets, different types of customer data sets. We go to finance, and finance will have data sets like daily expenses, right? That's data set 1. We're going to have another finance will also have another expenses that maybe electronic expenses, all right? That's another one, that's another data set. Then maybe we have sales income or profits. So we have like daily profits from sales, so daily profits, right, from the sales department. So these are data sets. So you can have different types of data sets under the finance department. So you are arranging everything, and you do this in SQL, okay? All right, so HR, you have your staff name, right, staff details, and maybe you have attendance, right? You have attendance, and then you have roles, right? Company job roles, okay, or interview data. So let's use interview data. All right, so when you go to legal, you talk about maybe cases out of court, cases in court, loans, that are yet to be collected. So you have data sets on that as well. Then you come to sales. You say, okay, we have the sales reps, right? Then people who are salespeople here, right? We will have daily. So we have daily sales that comes in, and maybe we have sales performance, right? So these are the data sets you have arranged in sales. Then you have marketing. So marketing, maybe we have one-on-one. I think my pen. It's been a while. One-on-one clients, right? So one-on-one. So that's in person, door to door, or we have digital marketing, right? And we have, okay, the digital marketing is broad. So maybe you say, okay, we have email marketing. Then we have content marketing, right? The data set around it. So this, like, in typical way, or you'll be able to understand, this is something that goes on in the SQL data set. Okay, so meaning that so you have a vast data set, a vast data pool, which is maybe the whole company. And now you move on to arrange all the data accordingly. So we have CS database. So these are all databases. All right, we have CS database, finance database, HR database, legal database, sales database, marketing database. What does this help you do? So if you need any data, that is, maybe you ask yourself, okay, this is HR database. You directly go to the HR database. All right. So for you to be able to arrange this like this, you have to know the SQL language, right? You have to know the SQL. I feel like say SQL language is language. Yes, you have to know the language. So you have to know the how to, okay, say create this database for me and put all this here, create this for me and all that. So that is what it means to, like, that's what SQL helps you do, to be able to arrange and maintain your data and keep it safe and all that, and you can add more. So now when you need so now when you need, maybe you want to find out the sales that happened on the 1st of January. Since you are already gathering all the daily sales under the sales database, you just tell SQL that, okay, go into the daily sales data set in. So it's like this. So I'm going to create write a query, right? So it says select everything from what the daily sales dot sales. So you want to see all the sales that has happened from, so this is collecting daily sales from 1st of January, and we are now on the 2nd of January. So you want to see all the sales that has happened from 1st to the 2nd of February. So you tell SQL that, okay, go select everything. So everything is star, right? From the daily sales table. So this is a data set, which is also known as table in SQL. And the table is found where? In the sales database. So this is a table and this is a database where the table is. So that means and this is the language that you've learned. You are not using English that, oh, go and take this for me. You are telling this is the language of SQL. So that's all. Like, if you understand it this from this way, that's where you can build on it. All right. So in a nutshell, SQL, so in a nutshell, I want to give you a roadmap where SQL is found. So in a nutshell, you have your data, you keep it in a database, and I think, you have to do it horizontally. So in a nutshell, you have your data. You keep it in a database. Then you use it for your analysis. All right. So here, for you to create your database, you use SQL. All right. So for you to create your database, you use SQL. For you to also analyze, you can use SQL. So you learn the language, right? So that is it. Language that will help you create a database in SQL will be something like create database. Then the name will come, then you have your semicolon, right? So this name, the name of the database, say, let's say if it's HR, so create database HR. So the database HR will be created. Then now you can say, okay, now create, okay. Yeah, so now you can also add, if you want to add other data sets, then now you say, okay, create table under the database, still using SQL. Then you create the table. Then now you have your information, you insert your information as well. Then now when you have it, everything there, you have your data, you'll be like, okay, you want to do analysis. So you'll be like, okay, select HR. Then you tell it to maybe find maybe maximum or minimum of something, or average of the salary of something. So that is how SQL is used. I hope you understand what SQL is, and I hope to see you in class. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to share it to a friend for them to benefit from all this understanding. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.